Hi guys, welcome to part 5 of Angular 7 for Absolute Beginners by TechTechTuts in 2019. Friends, in this video tutorial, we will learn about directives in Angular 7 and we will see what are directives, how to use them and what advantages you can take using these directives. So without any if and buts, let's get into the tutorial. So guys, directives are very important part of Angular 7 because they will help you to bind information between your TypeScript file and your HTML file. So it means the component you created with CSS, HTML and TS file, it will help you, the directive will help you to manipulate information from your TypeScript file to your HTML template and from your HTML template to your TypeScript file. So in this video tutorial, we will learn about some directives, very important directives. So let's start with the first directive. So before I start with the first directive, let me tell you one more thing, that we can do two types of binding using Angular 7 directives. Number one is data binding and number two is event binding. So first we will talk about those directives which help you to bind data. So we will talk about data binding first. So the first directive we are going to talk about is ngClass. With the help of ngClass, we can add any CSS class in your HTML template using ngClass directive. So let me give you a practical example. Suppose in my app.component.css file, I have a red class name and this one just do the color red. And now I want to implement this red class on my component app component.html on this h2. So simply what I can do is class is equal to, and here I can put the name of that class red, and you will see here are some links to help you goes to red color. But that is a simple one-way class binding. If you want to do a dynamic class binding, then you have to use ngClass. So how to use ngClass is quite simple. Simply you need to put square brackets here, and then in the square bracket type ng in small letters and class, put the C capital and then class. Now here in this equal to, in your double quotes, you have to put the name of the class or name of the variable. Now if you see that I have created .css in the .css file the red class name. So if I type here red, it will not work. Let me show you. And if it's reloaded, you see it's not working because this red, it's looking for a variable name with the name of red, but we don't have any variable in app.component with this name red. So suppose if I create a variable, my style is equal to and red, then I can use this my style variable here and bind this my style here simply like this. Now it will go to the TypeScript file and find this data variable and then change its value and put its value to the class component. So now if I go to my view browser, you will see the color becomes red, and if I inspect it, it will show me that the class is equal to red has been applied to the HTML element dynamically. So next we will see that this in ngClass will help us to create different logics as well. So we will see in the future when we talk about some more components, then we will see that how can we use ngClass with different conditions. So for the time being, I am sure you understand that with the ngClass you can pass a variable name. No doubt you can pass a static word as well by just putting a single quote inside the double quote and putting the name red. So now this red class will be assigned to the ngClass automatically, and you can see it is in color red. It become red color. Before it was not working when we used it like this. See, it's not working, it's showing a black color, but when I put it in the single quote, it will work, right? So this is our first directive, ngClass. So the next directive in the line is ngStyle. Just like ngClass, where you can assign any class to your ngClass directive, we have another directive called ngStyle, and with the help of ngStyle you can put any styling inline styling in your components. So let's see how to use it. So suppose in the replace of ngClass I will use ngStyle. Same concept, ng small letter, style, s is the capital for the style. And then here we can put object in the form of object. We cannot put it like this red like color red, it will not work because it will look for an object when you use ngStyle. So we can do it like this, and we put a curly bracket around this, and then we can put this red inside single quotes. And if I save it, and now you can see that the h2 color is red, and inside our app component you can see h2 and then style is equal to color colon red. You can easily see it here. You see style is equal to color red, and it has been applied by this, and you can change it any, and just put the commas and put here font size. If you have like this, then put it like this font size, and then you can put here 48 or 52 pixels like this. Save it and then let it to be reloaded, and you see now the font size is like for 52 pixel. But if you want to use this font size without the single quote, then you have to use in the form of JavaScript like this font and with size capital S. And when you reload it, and you will see that in the style tag it will use font dash size. So this is a way how we can add styling in JavaScript. So same concept goes here. So with the ngStyle you can do dynamic styling like this. 52 pixel can be coming from any other element, so it can be a dynamic value, anything can be it. Or the color, you can use dynamic colors, different colors, and it will change automatically this variable. So it is all up to you. You can use this as a variable, so it is all up to you. So this is the simplest example of ngStyle. So the next directive is very important directive, and it uses a little bit differently as compared to previous two directives which I've shown examples like ngClass and ngStyle. And that new directive is ngFor. It is basically a JavaScript for loop. With the help of this for loop, we can manipulate array of data or array of objects inside HTML component. So let me show you an example. Suppose in my app.component.ts file, I have some array of data, like my data is equal to, and then in the form of array I have some names like TechTechTuts, YouTube, Facebook. And now I want to display this information inside our HTML component separately in different li format, in ul li format. So what I will do, I will go to app.component.html file, and anywhere or wherever I want to display this information, I will simply create a ul, and then inside ul I will create ng, and then I will put a star and then ng in the small letters, and for the f in capital is equal to, and then I will create a variable using let keyword. Let is ES6 variable type, I mean keyword. So let d is equal to, sorry, d of data. So ngFor of is use of keyword and transfer data one by one from data variable to the d variable. So it means when it execute first time, it will put first data which is TechTechTuts and inside this d. So now we can using special elements, or we can use this finding and then display d here simply. And when we see on the browser, we will see all three of the data here. Let it to be reloaded. So it's not showing. Oh, so it's okay. ngFor let d of data. Oh, sorry, I think my data. I put the name my data. I think, yeah, my data. Sorry, the name was wrong, so that's why it wasn't showing here. Anyways, now it will show. You see TechTechTuts, YouTube, and Facebook. You can further wrap it into your any h3 or h2 any tag, and then it will be displayed in this tag format. You see, now you can see TechTechTuts, YouTube, Facebook. So this is the simplest example. You can display arrays of data. Also you can display arrays of objects. So how can we display arrays of objects? So this is our first object where we have a name keyword, and name is TechTechTuts, and its location we can type like YouTube channel, and then we can have another object. Suppose we put again the same keyword name, and then we can put any example name here, and then comma, and then we can put location, the same keyword, and anywhere on YouTube. So these are the two objects we have created. One is this and one is this object. So these two objects having the same keys, make sure the keys are same, otherwise you will get into troubles displaying the information. So now I want to display this one, so I will make some changes here. So D, now it will get a first object inside the D, so the object can be displayed by using dot notation. So here I will put D dot, and then I will put the name, the key of the value which I want to display the key. So I will put here name, and then I will put as minus sign or dash symbol, and then I will put D dot location. Simple is that. So it will now display D dot name, and you can see D dot name TechTechTuts, D dot location YouTube channel, D dot name example name, D dot location is anywhere on the YouTube. So now it is displaying arrays of object using ngFor. So this is the simplest possible example of ngFor. So the next directive in the list is ngIf. With the help of ngIf, we can hide and show different elements on the screen. I mean, depending on the condition, you can show any elements, or depending on the condition, you can hide any elements. So suppose, let me show you a quick example. In the app component.ts, I have a variable called num is equal to 5. So I want to display that if num is greater than 5, then it must say that number is greater than 5. So here I put a p tag, and here I type number is greater than 5. So I want to display this one when the number is greater than 5, and I want to display this one when number is less than 5. So these two p's, there are two p's, I mean two p elements, and I want to display this when the number is greater than 5, and I want to display this if the number is less than 5, the num variable. So here I will put ngIf is equal to num is greater than 5. Simply I will write this, and here I will put ngIf is equal to num is less than 5. So here I can put as well num is greater than equal to 5, and here I can put num is less than 5. So simply I will save it, and when I will display it, you will see number is greater than 5, because in my TS file I choose the number is equal to 5. So if I put it 4, then it will display number is less than 5. Now number is greater than 5 is not being displayed, because I have put a condition that this element will only be shown when there is num variable have value greater or equal to 5, and will display this line of p if the num is less than 5. So this is the simplest possible example of ngIf. There are some other examples of ngIf which we will discuss later as we move on, because those are a bit complicated and are a bit difficult to understand from the starting. So if you practice this and if you can make it work, I'm sure you can learn it as well. But in future videos I will explain those where we can display different templates like ng templates, and we can use if and else block as well. So for the time being, you should only understand that with the help of ngIf, we can show and hide certain elements on the HTML component. So this is the example of ngIf directive. So guys, this is it. This was our today's video tutorial about directives, and hopefully you understand those directives very easily. There are some other directives as well which we will discuss later when we talk about event binding. Right now we have talked about data binding, and we see 4 directives. So let's see in the upcoming videos. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do consider and subscribe to it, and don't forget to press the like button and bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I upload a new video. So guys, thank you very much, take care, and goodbye.